The nation of Panem, established on what the United States was in the past, is a conglomeration made up of 12 poor districts controlled by the wealthy capital. The attempted rebellion of the districts ended with the submission of 12 of them and the destruction of the other. As punishment for the dark days, and so that they are not forgotten, each year the 12 districts must deliver a boy and a girl between 12 and 18 years old in a public harvest, and those chosen must compete against each other to get to finish off the others, obtaining who achieves it a luxurious life, in what they call the Hunger Games. Katniss Everdeen, a 16-year-old girl who lives in District 12 and is one of the few people who dares to leave the boundaries of the district to hunt animals with her bow that she can then sell to feed her family. There she meets her friend Gale, who fantasizes about fleeing his district and going to live together in the forest, something she knows her younger siblings would not resist. He also fantasizes that no one would see the Hunger Games, which would serve to put an end to them, something also unlikely. In the harvest of the tributes, as the chosen ones are known, for the 74 games, Primrose Everdeen, Prim, Katniss's 12-year-old sister, is chosen, who, to save her from certain death, volunteers to replace her, being her district mate Peeta Mellark. After saying goodbye for a few minutes to her family and Gale, she is convinced that she can win thanks to her skill as a hunter. They are then taken to the capital on a luxurious train where they meet Haymitch Abernathy, a former winner of the games, who has been appointed as their tutor, although he seems more interested in drinking than advising them. Convinced that they have little chance of survival, since the tributes of Districts 1 and 2 are volunteers who dedicate the entire year to training in specialized academies. Finally, he advises them to try to please the sponsors, because the more they like them, the more opportunities they will have to win, since they can provide them with gifts such as food, medicine, and tools that can help them survive. They are accommodated in dream rooms, assigning them stylists, with Cinna, his being an innovator who helps him polish his appearance, wearing a suit that attracts the attention of those attending the gala presentation of the tributes, since fire comes out of it and helps them to get more sponsors. Katniss, who at first did not want to create any emotional bond with Peeta, begins to trust him, Peeta pointing out that even his mother believes that Katniss has many more chances to win, although she, who has known him since childhood, knows that he is also very strong for having carried bags of flour for his family's bakery for years. The next day, the tributes are interviewed on television by Caesar Flickerman, causing Katniss again causing a sensation thanks to the dress designed by Cinna, which, when it turns on itself, gives the sensation that it burns. For his part, Peeta admits, when asked if he likes any girl, that there is, but that she doesn't know. And when the interviewer tells him that if he wins, he will conquer her without any effort, he tells her that winning will not help him at all, since the girl is also competing, which angers Katniss, who at first thinks that it is just a strategy to win, although he later understands that this is not the case, Haymitch being happy, as he believes that their love story will give them many sponsors. After the prolegomena, they go on to explain the rules they must follow, warning them that most of them will die of natural causes, after which they begin training so that they know the rules of survival, observing that some of them are very professionalized. And finally, they will undergo an evaluation in which they will have to show their skills, being very important to obtain a good grade in front of the sponsors. When Katniss misses her first shot with the bow, the evaluators lose interest in the second shot, although she will know how to gain their attention by sticking her next arrow into the apple that a roast pig had in its mouth, which will earn her a score of 11 out of 12, the best in history, with Peeta having an 8. Once the games begin, most of the tributes are thrown into arms, with 13 of the participants dying in the first 8 hours. Katniss flees into the woods, observing that Peeta has formed an alliance with several other tributes to have more strength, the others in the group considering that Peeta will be very useful to them in order to find Katniss. Trying to survive and hide from her enemies, she gets too far away, reaching the limit of the terrain in which the games take place, so the organizers of these force her to flee by throwing fire projectiles and making the forest burn, being forced to dodge the flames, which causes her to end up injured. Finally managing to reach the water, from where she hears how the 5 allies approach, and when they see her, they chase her, having to take refuge at the top of a tree, deciding, on Peeta's advice, to leave her there until she is forced to go down or die of hunger, although it is most likely that it will be the infection of her wound that will end her. But it will not be like that. Sponsors provide you with an ointment that will help you heal your wound and survive. In addition, another of the participants, the little Rue of the 11th arrondissement, helps him by telling him how to get rid of his bullies, indicating that on them there is a swarm of genetically modified wasps whose stings can cause death. So he cuts the branch, causing the wasps to fall on their rivals, one of which dies. Katniss kept her bow, although the wasps also stung her, who begins to have hallucinations. When he finally wakes up, he realizes that someone has placed leaves on his bites, finding little Rue next to him, who explains that he has slept for several days, during which she changed the leaves. From that moment on, the two girls will ally themselves against their enemies. Knowing the place where they store their food, they decide to destroy them, for which they distract them by preparing a bonfire. They manage to get the group out when they see the smoke, leaving only a guard next to their supplies, around which they have placed mines. And when he realizes its existence, he shoots his arrow against a bag of fruit, causing the fruits to roll out and activate the mines. His plan is a success. But Rue falls into a trap, and although she manages to free her, she can't stop another participant from shooting her before Katniss finishes him off. Saddened by the girl's death, Katniss covers her body with flowers and sends a greeting to District 11, in which the people, saddened by the death of their little girl, rebel against the police. It is then decided, and to try to calm the spirits and provoke the empathy of the spectators, that there is a change of rules in the game, allowing, for the first time, that there can be two winners if both are from the same district, a circumstance that only occurs with respect to those from the 13th district. Katniss then goes out to look for Peeta, whom she finds injured, taking him to a cave, where he confesses that he saw her return home every day, as he loved her from the first day he saw her at school. All the survivors need something special, and the organizers decide to give it to them, pointing out that they will be delivered to them in the cornucopia, an open place, which they must approach if they want to obtain it, risking that the others will finish them there. Katniss goes to the place to find the medicine that Peeta needs, being surprised by another of the participants who is about to finish her off, saving her life thanks to the other contestant from District 11, and in gratitude for what she did for Rue, she finishes off her opponent, warning her that if they see each other again, she will not have compassion for her. Thanks to this, he manages to help heal Peeta's wounds, who is about to die shortly after, when picking some berries that he does not know are poisonous, and that he is about to eat, saving himself when he is found by Katniss, and discovering that another of the tributes was on his trail, having escaped death at his hands thanks to the fact that he did eat the poisonous berries known as Nightlock. Shortly after they learn that Umbral also died, the tribute that was left alive from District 11, and to create more excitement, the organizers introduce mutant animals similar to wild dogs, running Peeta and Katniss to try to avoid their attacks to the cornucopia, on whose roof they believe they are safe, but where they meet Cato, the only survivor along with them, fighting hard, until Cato manages to overpower Peeta, despite which Katniss manages to save him by throwing her dart at Cato, who falls and begins to be eaten by dogs, before which Katniss, and to avoid his suffering, shoots him again, ending his life. And when they believe they have won, the organizers inform them that the rule that there could be two winners was revoked, to which Peeta tells Katniss to finish him off, which she refuses, dividing some nightlocks that she still carried, knowing that the organizers will not allow there to be no winners, being in effect restrained before taking them, declaring to proclaim both victors. But the decision has displeased President Snow, who does not believe that two young men can make the government tremble, deciding to sacrifice Seneca Crane, the head of the games, for not having known how to manage them, for which they take him to a room where they leave him locked next to a fountain full of nightlock berries. Meanwhile, the two winners are greeted by an enthusiastic audience in front of which they show themselves to be in love, returning shortly afterwards to their district, where they are awaited with great expectation by their neighbors, among whom Katniss immediately distinguishes Gale, who carries her sister Prim on his shoulders.